Hey, it's Greg Brown. Grab your logbook, because it's time for Flying Carpet Podcast Flight number 26. Lobe Plays Sedona. Skies filled with music. You know, along with cockpit thrills and challenges, plenty of piloting adventure arises from where flying can take us, both physically and spiritually. And that's what today's episode is about. I'm an aviation author, adventure columnist, photographer, and former National Flight Instructor of the Year. The Flying Carpet is a 4-place single-engine light airplane. In it, my wife Jean and I have long traveled the North American continent, searching behind clouds for the real America, and experiencing aerial adventures like today's all along the way. Learn more at my website, gregbrownflyingcarpet.com, where you can also see photos from today's episode. And I'd appreciate your feedback in my Flying Carpet Podcast Facebook group. Okay, everyone, hop aboard my Flying Carpet, snug up your seatbelts, and prepare for takeoff on today's adventure, Lobe Plays Sedona. Skies filled with music. Clear prop. Every kid since Bill Haley and the Comets has dreamed of being a rock star. So I wasn't surprised when our son Hannes, a college music major at the time, called from Flagstaff one day to brag about his new band. It's called Lobe, he said, as in the ear and the brain. What kind of music do you play? I asked. It's a little hard to characterize, he said. For now, we're billing it as crazy acid jazz hip-hop. We've even burned a promo CD. That's cool, I said, pretending I understood the description. But when I learned that some of the band members came from the stellar Northern Arizona University jazz program, I knew this could be good. When can Mom and I hear Lobe perform? I asked. For all the times we've heard you play jazz, this will be entirely new for us. I don't know, Dad. We're hot right now in the campus bars, but you know how Mom dislikes smoke. The music's loud, too. I refrained from recounting my own past history at smoky, ear-splitting performances. After all, Janis Joplin and Jefferson Airplane are ancient history. Hannes, will you call when you're playing an appropriate venue for us to come and listen? Yeah, Dad, I'll let you know sometime. No amount of cajoling would net us a copy of the CD. We're not totally happy with it yet, he said. For months afterward, we heard little of Lobe, except for rumored hot gigs at night spots like Flagstaff Brew and the Monte Vista Hotel. I'd pretty much given up on ever hearing the band when Hannes phoned with a surprise invitation. We're playing in Sedona Saturday night, he said. And we need as many paying customers as possible to make it work. There's no smoking or drinking. It's at some sort of new age place, but admission is $10. Most of my friends can't afford that much, but do you and Mom want to come? This was an easy decision. Not only would we finally experience Lobe, but Sedona, Arizona ranks among the most memorable pilot destinations anywhere. Set in the shoulder of the massive Colorado Plateau, the town nestles among fantastical columns of rose-colored rock. Above it all perches the airport, atop a 400-foot-tall mesa. And it was only 45 minutes by flying carpet from our then Phoenix area home. It's hard to imagine a prettier sight in the world than Sedona at sunset, observed Jean on the evening of our arrival. Scarlet spires crowded our final approach, transmuting to pearlescent lavender with the falling of dusk. Blue and white airport lights beckoned from atop the dark mesa ahead, while above us, fiery-edged black-bottom clouds bobbed in a tangerine sky. Nearby, scattered silvery rain shafts sliced the twilight, glowing crimson where singed by the setting sun, but somber gray in the depths of their shadows. Beneath it all, the town's tranquil sea of sparkling lights lapped in blackness against the base of the mesa. Securing the flying carpet in apricot twilight, Jean and I strolled hand in hand to the airport restaurant. It was too cold for patio dining, but we cinched a corner window table in time to watch final rays of twilight kiss vermilion spires before yielding to darkness. All this seemed a worthy overture for the coming evening of music. Dazzled, we phoned a taxi after dinner to take us into town for the concert. Ground transportation turned out to be a past-its-prime Lincoln town car. The driver, Gator, wore a battered felt matinee cowboy hat. Immediately he set Jean and me laughing with non-stop stream-of-consciousness talk and irreverent humor. At Gator's side rode his much younger girlfriend, adorned 1960s style with waist-length blonde hair secured by a floral headband across her forehead, a long skirt, and multitudes of beads. You expect colorful people in Sedona because the place's unearthly beauty draws them there. Over the years, the community has transformed from a remote settlement named for the founding rancher's daughter to a melting pot of glitterati and innumerable mystical and religious groups. Vortices of healing and spiritual energy marked by circles of crystals and ceremonial rock cairns dot the surrounding red rock formations, placed by New Agers and other spiritualists who flock there in droves from around the globe. As we descended Airport Road toward the lights of town, I shared our destination's address with the driver. Given Sedona's small size and Gator's long tenure there, I was a bit surprised that he'd never heard of the place. But sure enough, a small theater and music studio materialized on a shadowy black street at the stated address. "Whew, it was really hot in that car," said Jean after we got out. "I wonder if the heater was broken." "Not on my side," I replied. "My window wouldn't roll up, and cold rain from that passing shower kept blowing in." The theater proved to be a compact but beautiful facility. Collecting tickets at the door were cosmically named readers like Starshine and Tranquility. Turned out they were members of a spiritual group calling themselves the Aquarians. There were more name-tagged hosts in attendance than paying patrons, it seemed. The group's tenets were not familiar to us, but lining the interior walls were tasteful photos of their bearded and berobed spiritual leader, Gabriel of Sedona. The one flash of familiarity on this ethereal trip came when Hannes greeted us before taking the stage. Why people are often surprised to discover hidden talent within their families, I don't know. But Jean and I were suitably impressed. Crazy acid jazz hip-hop turned out to be as good a description as any for Lobe's original sound. A fluid blend of constantly shifting jazz rhythms, accented by a record-skipping DJ driving a danceable beat for seducing the masses. and the supporting multicolored light show, courtesy of the Aquarians, would have done Jefferson Airplane proud. At break, Gene and I snuck to the back and secretly purchased most of the few available Lobe CDs for ourselves and relatives, stashing them as best we could in her purse and my coat pockets. Then we returned to our seats for the second set.
It's just like making love or something like that. Whenever you feel it, let it go. Let it go.
Gene lauded the band's unusually delicate melodies and the then new to us musical contributions of a turntable DJ. I in turn appreciated how band members playfully tossed melodies back and forth like a hot potato between them, instead of torturing us with interminable rock guitar leads. It's the mark of a great performance that we didn't want the show to end. While Gene and I waited for Gator and his girlfriend to drive us back to the airport, we chatted in the parking lot with Hannes and his Lobe buddies about their ambitious plans for making the big time. The glow projected by these young musicians was even brighter than the psychedelic lights of their show. In any case, we couldn't have been prouder. "Guess what?" called one of the band members as we climbed into the aged town car. "We sold over half our CDs." Smiling at our secret, Gene and I waved goodbye. Riding back to the airport, we savored Gator's humorous barbs directed at his local taxi competition. "You're going to sleep in the airplane?" asked Gator's girlfriend unexpectedly as we pulled up to the airport gate. "Oh no," I said, explaining that I'd previously confirmed availability of rooms at the Mesa Top Sky Ranch Lodge, should weather or fatigue dictate that we stay overnight. But despite occasional rain spattering through the evening, the Milky Way now beckoned us skyward from bottomless skies, so no, I replied, chuckling, "we're taking off." "Oh," she said, "I didn't know you could fly at night." We saluted our drivers with a generous tip, and with crazy acid jazz hip-hop rhythms still coursing through our heads, rotated blindly into blackness to navigate home by starlight. Flying to hear Lobe perform in Sedona had proven one of those unexpectedly magical missions not to be forgotten for a very long time. If ever. Thanks for riding along with Gene and me on this musical flying carpet mission. You can find photos from that evening at my website, gregbrownflyingcarpet.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please check out my book of stories, Flying Carpet, The Soul of an Airplane, for which I was named Barnes & Noble Arizona Author of the Month. Learn about that and my other aviation books at gregbrownflyingcarpet.com. Also at my website, you'll find my Views from the Flying Carpet aerial photography, available in fine art metal prints and pilot achievement plaques. Please share your favorite Flying Carpet episodes on social media. Post reviews on your favorite podcast directories, and treat the Flying Carpet to a gallon of avgas via my Greg Brown Flying Carpet website. Oh, and I'd appreciate hearing your feedback in my Flying Carpet podcast Facebook group. Follow my social media sites, most of which can be found by searching Greg Brown Flying Carpet, and consider joining my Student Pilot Pep Talk group on Facebook. Thanks again for joining me on today's Flying Carpet Cockpit Adventure. Music by the Lobsters and Hannes Brown. See you next time.